All right, the last thing I want to talk about is how to export an animation from Adobe Animate. Okay, so last week we talked about exporting like a single image, like a JPEG. This week is more about exporting an actual video. Okay, so for the same reason, the default or the native format of Adobe Animate is the .fla or the Flash file. Um, the problem is only people who have Adobe Flash or Adobe Animate can open up those files. So we need to export it to a format that other people can work with. So what I would do is, so let's say I have my animation here. And actually, before we even export as an animation, you first want to double check that your animation is what you want it to be. You can play it back and forth. So this is just the animation I did earlier with the, snake and everything, right? You might want to go to publish settings. This is your actual exporting of your video. This is going to say what items are going to be included. The main thing here, this is for Flash. We're not going to worry about this because we're not going to export this as Flash. We're going to export this as a movie file. Movie file. There we go. The main thing here is under advanced, just make sure that the include hidden layers is off. What is a hidden layer? A hidden layer is if you had a layer where you were, let's say I have this layer here, and then I draw something in it. Like let's say I had, woo, right? And then for some reason I turned that layer off and then you exported it. You would actually Animate defaultly turns layers back on and you would actually see that layer. Okay. So I recommend always to sort of turn that option off by unclicking that, include hidden layers. That's really the only thing that you really need to probably play around with. I'm going to hit OK. Let's turn this off. And I'm going to go under export. And let's go under export video media. This would export what's called an SWF file or a SWIFT file, which we don't want to do. That's more of an old school way. We're going to convert this to a movie format. What movie format you convert to depends on your computer. If you're on a Mac, you can probably convert it to an MPEG-4 really easily or an MOV file. If you're on a PC or running Windows, you may want to export this as an AVI file. So this is my double check your settings. So this is the size of my composition. This means it would the background will be ignored. This is whether or not you want to export the entire movie. So if you start getting into scenes, we haven't talked about scenes yet. We'll talk about scenes in a couple weeks. So for now, just make sure entire movie is selected. You can export just a range of the timeline. For now, I would say just export the whole thing. There's really no reason not to. This is where the movie will be outputted to in the name of it. So right now it's actually going to my desktop, which I actually kind of like. Actually, sorry, I take that back. It's actually going to this folder. So let's say I want to put this as, I'm going to set this to the desktop, and I'm going to call this test animation. That's going to be the name of the file that's exported. So I'm going to hit save. You can see how it says desktop test animation. This is the format of that's going to be exported. Okay, yours might look different if you're running Windows. I would recommend for most of you to either run as H.264, or if that is not an option, MPEG-4 or QuickTime. Okay. This requires that you have that particular codec or movie codec installed on your computer. I do have H.264. If you don't have that, like I said, QuickTime is a good one. MPEG-4 is a good one. If you're on Windows, AVI is an available option that you can use. So I'm going to hit export. I think it exported my movie. Hopefully it did. It's not going to make me do this every time, is it? Let me try that one more time. I think I forgot to. Oh, okay. So that, okay, I'm going to actually use QuickTime. The reason why that happened is to do H.264 on my computer, I had to run Adobe Media Encoder, which you guys may or may not have. I'm going to try doing that without it. So test animation. To be perfectly honest, it doesn't matter. They're all fine at this point. There are some technical differences, but at this level, it does not matter. Let's export. Okay, so it created my animation. I mean, it was literally like a second or two. So there's my file. So now that I have my file, I'm going to want to upload that to whatever service you're going to use. So I'm going to use YouTube. To use YouTube upload, you have to have an account. So you have to set that up if you don't already have one. Once you set up, you can go under create and then upload, and that would let you upload a file or a video file. We're going to choose select files, and I'm going to upload that video that we just exported, which is test animation. Should go pretty quickly because it's extremely short. This is going to be the name that appears in YouTube. You can change it if you want. I don't care. You don't have to worry about thumbnail. The main thing here is if it says, is it made for kids? Just say no. That saves you like a bunch of time, essentially. Just say that. It's fine. Go to next down here. You don't really have to worry about any of this. There's no copyrights as long as you can use any copyrighted music. The main thing here is, do you want it to be, how do you want it to be saved? Public means anyone can search for it on YouTube, which is probably fine if you have a problem with that. Unlisted means it's available, but it won't come up in search engines. Okay. I prefer you don't use private because private means you have to give me the password. So usually I would recommend either public or unlisted, you know. This is going to be your actual YouTube link. So if I hit save, there's the link. You can watch it on YouTube. Ooh, look at that. Crazy animation. Okay. This is your URL up here. I'm going to copy that. And then when you guys submit me projects or labs or things like that, I want you to take the URL and I want you to paste it into a text document. This is just text edit, but you can use Microsoft Word or Google Docs or whatever you want. I'm going to save this and I'm going to call this test animation URL. Okay. This is just so that I have a copy of where I can find the video online. Okay, it's good to know where it is. There might be times that you guys are doing critiques or something that you want to share this with other people. So that's the point of that. Okay. So that's how you export a video and upload it to a service like YouTube. Vimeo has, I'm not going to go through Vimeo, but it's pretty much the same where it's like you have to have an account. There'll be a way to upload the video. Once it's uploaded, they'll give you the URL to that particular video.